Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Nous sommes très
Good
heureux de vous
morning,
réunir ce
everyone.
matin
We
pour le
are
lancement officiel
delighted
de la
to
Coupe
welcome
du
you
Monde
here today for the
féminine de la
official
FIFA qui aura lieu
launch of
du
the
7
FIFA
juin au 7
Women's
juillet
World Cup,
2019.
which will take
Bienvenue
place
également à tous ceux
June
qui
7
nous
to
suivent sur le
July
YouTube
7,
de la
2019, and we'd
FIFA.
like to welcome our
Merci
YouTube
à
followers
Monsieur
as
Gianni
well.
Infantino, le président de la FIFA,
I'd like to
d'être
thank
venu spécialement ce
Gianni
matin pour nous.
Infantino, who is
Et avant
the
d'accueillir
president of the
Monsieur
FIFA, who has
Legret,
come
le
here
président de la
especially
Fédération française de
for us
foot,
today, and also
je vous
Mr.
propose de
Legret,
voir une
who is
rétrospective
the president
des
of the
7 premières
French
éditions de la
Football
Coupe du Monde.
Federation. And now we'll have a quick look at a retrospective.
Oh, she's through here, and she scored the winning goal in the Women's World Championship final. Okay, goodbye, China. The USA could win the World Cup on this next trip. It's good start. Golden goal. Germany win the World Cup. Oh, wonderful from Martha. Now finishes. Yes, he does. And Germany are going to win the World Cup now. One more. World Cup belongs to you, Japan.
4 years since Japan lifted the Women's World Cup trophy in Germany. The tournament returns for its 7th edition. Ticket sales have been exceptional so far.
Long-range effort from Lloyd. Oh my goodness! It's the United States of America Day.
Vous pouvez applaudir.
You can applaud.
C'est remarquable.
It's a
C'est la
remarkable
première
look
fois que la
back.
France va organiser cette Coupe du Monde.
And this is the first time that France will be
Noël Legret, le président de la
organizing
Fédération
the
française de
World
foot.
Cup, and I'd like to ask you to welcome Mr. Noël
Noël
Legret,
Legret,
president of the
toujours
French
cru
Football
au
Federation.
développement
Noël
du football
Legret has
féminin. Bonjour, Noël.
always been a believer in the development of women's football.
Voilà. Bonjour. C'est une grande fierté pour la fédération
Are you very
d'accueillir cette Coupe du Monde.
proud
Je crois que c'est un
to be
événement
welcoming
D'abord,
this World Cup?
le
Yes, I
développement
think
du
it's an
football féminin est vraiment sur les bons rails
exceptional
en France.
event.
On doit beaucoup à notre équipe
Women's football has been
nationale, de
developing in
bonne
France.
image.
We have an
Et l'intérêt
excellent
d'organiser une compétition
national
comme celle-là, c'est
team
d'abord le développement du
with
foot
a good
féminin,
image, and I
mais c'est
think
aussi
the
d'être bien
development of
organisé, d'être prêt pour un
women's
événement
football
mondial.
Alors,
is something that will be
c'est une grande
important on a
fierté, mais
world
c'est
scale
également,
as
Noël,
well.
une grosse
I think
responsabilité.
you're very proud, but
Oui,
you
enfin,
also have a big
responsabilité
responsibility.
relativement sage, c'est plutôt des
Yes,
objectifs intéressants.
responsibility, but
Vous
we do have
permettrez,
some
si
interesting
vous voulez bien,
objectives, I would
Le
say.
football féminin s'est développé en France.
The idea is to
Je voulais
develop
saluer, Louis Nicolas,
women's football
qui a été le
in
premier
France,
à
and I'd
investir
like
dans
to
le foot féminin. C'est grâce à lui si nos
thank
compétitions
Louis Nicolas,
D1 féminines et que nos équipes
who was one of the
nationales ont repris
first
une
to
allure.
develop women's
Il a
football
mis
in
beaucoup de
France,
son
and
cœur,
he
beaucoup d'enthousiasme.
really put all of his
Ses amis,
enthusiasm and
je le
his
salue.
heart
Je pense qu'on
into
ne
the
peut
work
pas,
with his
ne pas
family as
penser à
well.
Laurent
I'd like
Nicolas
to
aujourd'hui.
thank him, and it's
On
important for
salue
us to
Laurent
have a thought
Nicolin
for
qui est présent dans la salle et qui est avec nous,
Laurent
qui est là.
Nicolas today. He's in the room with us here.
J'en viens au sport, quand on est là pour parler de sport, Noël.
And
Un
now we're here
seul
to
pays
speak about
organisateur a
sports.
réussi à gagner cette
Only
Coupe du Monde, c'était les
one
États-Unis en 1999. Est-ce que la
Host
France
country
a
managed to
encore une
win
fait
the cup one year.
C'est
That was
une
the
bonne
United
question.
States.
Corinne.
Do you think that the
Corinne,
France
après le match
could do it
d'hier
this year?
soir,
Well, let's
j'ai eu
ask
l'élégance
Corinne.
de
Corinne,
gagner la
after
télé. Je salue effectivement
last
l'équipe de France
night's
qui était présente, qui ont fait un très beau match.
match, I
Donc, je
think
sais pas,
we
Corinne, qu'est-ce
have
que je dois répondre?
we can be very hopeful of winning.
Elle m'a dit oui.
I'd like to congratulate the team, in
Magnifique.
fact,
Merci
for their
Noël.
win last night.
Applaudissements pour Noël Legret.
Thank you very
Merci
much,
beaucoup pour
Noel.
ces quelques mots.
Let's have a round of applause.
Avec cette belle Coupe du Monde qui va arriver très vite.
And here comes
Vous l'avez
the
compris, cette Coupe du Monde est un tournant pour le développement du
Women's
football
World
féminin.
Cup. As you have
Et je
well
voulais dire en
understood, this is an
ouverture, Gianni
important
Infantino,
moment.
le président de la
I'd
FIFA,
like to
est avec
ask
nous.
Gianni
Gianni
Infantino,
Infantino.
the president of the FIFA, to now come say a few words about it.
Bonjour Gianni.
Good morning,
Bonjour.
Johnny.
Bienvenue à Paris.
Hello,
Bonjour tout le monde. Merci
welcome to
beaucoup.
Paris.
Merci.
Qu'attendez-vous de
Thank you.
cette 8e Coupe du Monde de la FIFA?
What are you expecting from this
Ben,
8th
simplement
World Cup?
la plus belle
in
Coupe
women's
du monde
football.
féminine de
I think it will be
l'histoire
the
des coupes
best
féminines, de
women's
l'histoire du
World
football,
Cup
de
in
l'histoire de la
history,
FIFA. C'est tout simple,
in the
mais
history of
ça va être
FIFA.
magnifique.
I think it'll be
Qu'est-ce que ça représente
magnificent.
pour vous que ce soit la France qui l'organise, la Coupe du Monde?
What do you think
revient
about
en France.
France? organizing it this year.
La Coupe du Monde revient
It's
en
coming
Europe,
back to
effectivement.
Europe after being held outside Europe for many years. Well, I think it's very important. I think it's great that France is organizing this World Cup because France is a great football nation for football for men and football for women.
Le football féminin en France,
Women's football in
Le Gret l'a
France,
dit,
President Le Gret said so, thanks to Mr.
Nicolas
Nicolas and all of the others who have worked very hard to develop women's football in France.
J'ai eu moi-même la chance
has
de
great
pouvoir
success.
participer en tant que secrétaire général de l'UEFA à
I
l'organisation
was very
de l'Euro
lucky to participate in the organization of the Euro with the UEFA in France. And so now I'm really looking forward to working with the FIFA to organize the Women's World Cup in France. It's quite magical, in fact. Of course, Noël Le Gret deployed all of his efforts to ensure the development of women's football in France. It wasn't an easy task, and we'll talk about this in a moment with Brigitte Henriquez. What does women's football represent around the world?
Je pense que déjà pour commencer,
I think
le
that
foot féminin
women's
représente
football,
environ la moitié de la population mondiale.
well, it represents half of the world's population, doesn't it?
Combien de milliards de personnes
I don't know how
on est,
many
7, 8, donc,
billions
entre 3
we
et 4
are,
milliards de
7,
femmes
8, so that means there are 3 or 4 billion
en
women
grande partie aiment ou vont aimer le football. Donc c'est
who,
déjà
for
ça.
most of them,
Bien
already
sûr, en
love
termes
or will
de
come to love
licenciés,
football.
on a encore un
In
petit chemin
terms
à faire.
of
On a
registered
aujourd'hui
players,
37
I think we
millions
have some
de
progress
femmes
to
et filles
make. We have
licenciées.
about
Notre
30
objectif, c'est de passer de
million
30 à 60 millions d'ici
women and
10
girls
ans.
who
Donc,
are
la Coupe du
registered,
Monde
and we
va
hope that in the
certainement
next
aider
10 years we will be able to double that
dans
number,
ça aussi.
and the World Cup will
Mais,
certainly be an
il suffit aussi
opportunity
de
to
regarder
work
les
towards
chiffres
that
de la
goal.
dernière Coupe du Monde au
If we look at the
Canada,
figures
où
from
on
the
a eu,
last World Cup in Canada,
1,350,000
we had
spectateurs,
1,350,000
millions de spectateurs
viewers
devant la télé. L'objectif, c'est de faire 1 milliard au moins
5
en France.
million
lors
people
de
watching
la
on
Coupe du Monde
TV.
ici en 2019. Ça va être,
So I think that for 2019 we will have
vous avez vu le match
also
d'équipe de
doubled the
France
number of people
hier soir.
watching the
Là,
games.
c'était votre premier
Did you
match
see
de foot
the
féminin
game
que
last
vous avez
night?
vu.
I think it was.
C'était très beau. Vous avez vu
Was it the first women's football game? Did you see that? Yeah, did you see that third goal that she marked? That corner? That was fantastic.
Et ça marche.
Recommande, vous le verrez dimanche.
There was all this
Ça marchait?
preparation, and then it was a
Parce que
header.
les
It
hommes, ça
worked.
marche
It was
jamais, hein, ces
great.
trucs-là. Donc,
Mais je vais vous dire un
It's
truc.
true. It's
C'est
something
parce
that
qu'elles
doesn't
bossent.
always work.
Elles
That's
écoutent
because
plus.
ben voilà, vous avez raison. Donc, je vais faire une
they're hard
proposition.
workers, the girls on the
Puisqu'on est
team.
ici au musée de l'homme.
Here we're
À
at
partir
the
d'aujourd'hui, on va appeler ce musée
Musée de
la
l'Homme,
femme.
and I think now we should call it the Musée
On
de
va
la
célébrer
Femme,
la
not
Coupe du Monde
the
féminine en France en 2019.
Applaudissements
Museum
pour
of
Thierry. Merci
Mankind,
beaucoup.
but of
Merci,
womankind, in honor of
Vous
the
parlez de la
World
femme,
Cup
ça tombe bien, on va
2019.
accueillir Laura
You're
Flessel,
talking
ministre des
about
Sports, qui va nous
women,
rejoindre.
that's good. We'd like to call Laura Flessel, who is the Minister of Sports here in
Bonjour, Laura.
France. Hello, Laura.
Alors, vous vivez une période exaltante.
Laura, this is a very exciting period because we've got the Olympic rings out on the square in front of the museum, and we have the Women's World Cup. Yes, it's true that launching this 8th edition, this is a major event that comes at the same time as our successful candidacy for hosting the Olympic Games. So France has been recognized by FIFA as having the capacity to organize major international sporting events. And so here's a challenge for 2024 as well. We will have a country that has, I don't think that any other country will have welcomed as many major sporting events as France by 2024. The last time we organized a World Cup here in France, some stars were born. The state supported our candidacy, and we will be there by your side to ensure that the World Cup is a great popular event. We will be talking about advancing the cause of equality between the sexes. Sports are very important for today's society. We see more women's sports in the media today. We can see that the public is bigger and bigger. This is very important. And we can see that when women's sports are shown on prime time. For example, last August, the women's rugby team had a very wide viewing audience. And this is a great thing. We need to develop women's sports for all. And I hope that after the 2019 World Cup, we will see thousands of young girls who will choose to play football alongside boys. Thank you, Laura Flessel. And now we will have a look at the logo and the slogan for this 2019 World Cup.
Voilà le moment de briller. Il y a des femmes aujourd'hui qui sont dans les instances.
It's a great moment to shine. There are some women here today, and we can see that plenty of you are here today. Some of you come from the various leagues. We have Françoise Arnois from UEFA, Corinne Diacre, someone I know for many years now, and Brigitte Henriquez, president of the FFF. I would like to ask you up here to stage. Brigitte has fought for a long time for women's football to exist. Brigitte, you started at the age of 12 in the Anonymat Général here in France. So for you, this is a dream. It is a dream for me. A dream has come true. I remember playing with Corinne for many years. And my thoughts go out to Corinne and all those other women who play football. And to see all of these images up on the screen, it's quite moving. I saw some great American players up there as well. So I think this is great for the World Cup because it is a great time for small girls and women in France. Holding the 2019 edition here in France, I don't think we could have imagined such a thing ever happening some years ago. The Women's World Cup here in France, it's fantastic, it's a historical moment. And I think that this really fits in with what Noël Le Graët was saying, and fits in line exactly with what Nicolas strived for, was to really develop football for women. And we have more and more young girls signing up and becoming football players. And we can see that these numbers are increasing year in, year out. So I think 2019 is really just the icing on the cake for years and years of hard work. The 2019 edition, we want it to be a celebration for everyone. We want everyone to fill the stadiums. And I think that football has changed, the way society perceives football has changed. And we can see that having women and men playing sport, playing football, is something that we can all be proud of. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Gianni spoke about this more than 1 million spectators in Canada, but what are we doing here in France to ensure that the stadiums will be full? Well, I think one of the things that we really focused on was talking with local representatives, league representatives, local clubs, local federations, both amateur and professional clubs. We sent them a clear message, and that was that 2019 will be a success only if we can fill our stadiums. So for our local authorities, they really need to be aware of the fact that the World Cup is coming and that 2019 is a key year. We will have as many spectators in the stadiums and also on TV. So we need to bring all of those people together. And we need to bring them together so that they can enjoy this fantastic event. It's been fantastic to actually meet with some of these people, talking about the different projects that they're already planning. And when we talk about the regional launch, we can just hear countless fantastic stories. And the French Federation of Football is already accompanying a number of people in those regional authorities in club-level football, in junior high school and senior high school. We're organising events, and we can see that everyone is really doing as much as possible to have our stadiums as full as possible. So just before you go, I have one more question. So the World Cup lasts a month, but what about after the World Cup? Well, we've already spoken about 2024 here in Paris, and we can see that the legacy that will be left behind by 2019 is a legacy not just for France and not just for football with women's football, but it's much more than that as well. We have gone from 50,000 to 120,000 registered players here in France. I think that's fantastic. And many clubs have young girls playing. So in 2019, 2020, we think that we will have gone above and beyond the 200,000 registered players in women's football here in France. And we would do that by working with educators, working in schools, working with local clubs. And we can move into the elite football field as well. So we have training programs specifically designed for young girls and for older girls to actually take up football. We also work on raising awareness of local level football teams, and we do that around France. We do it because it's great for your health. Football is great for your health. Football is also great for social cohesion. And we do that all around France. Thank you, Brigitte. Thank you very much. We will now move on to the host cities, 9 host cities here in France. So there's the 9 host cities for the World Cup.
On y est presque.
We're nearly there. Erwan Leprévost, please come to the stage, the director for the organizing committee who will talk to us about the World Cup calendar. Erwan, thank you for being here. I think that we've got a bit of information, some exclusive information to share with everyone today. As you said, it is the 8th edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2019, which will be held between the 7th of June and the 7th of July 2019. 52 matches, 24 teams, 31 days of matches. So there's 23 teams as well as the French team to make all 24. So Corinne has been given presidential orders to ensure that she will do her best with the team. And this is very much like what we saw in 2015 with the 24 teams. 24 teams broken down into 4 pools with representatives from each of the major territories. I would just like to take this opportunity to say that we have been working with the FIFA to come up with the most key and essential information to share with you today. And I'd like to thank all of those people who have worked with us on coming up with all of this key information. So special thank you to everyone. A few key dates. The opening match will be held on the 7th of June at the Parc des Princes in Paris. From the 7th to the 20th of June, we will have a series of matches held around France. Then you will have the quarterfinals. Then the semi-finals, the 7th to the 29th of June. And then the semi-finals will be held later on in Lyon on the Tuesday the 2nd and Wednesday the 3rd of July. Third place match will be held on Saturday 6th of July, and the final. Obviously, we all hope that France will be a finalist. That match will be held on the 7th of July. And as mentioned by Le Gret and Fontino, the FFF and the LFP have a great task ahead. They need to ensure that the conditions for a great match will be there. So, Mr. President, I would like to ensure you that the entire organizing team is there, and we are working to ensure that we will live up to your expectations. That's a fantastic final word. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the 7th of June. Thank you all for being here today. There is a cocktail party which is held outside in the entrance hall. There is a photo session which will also be held afterwards. And I would just like to point out that if you would like, you can take an opportunity to take photos of the trophy. Please don't touch the trophy because it's a bad luck. I would just like to show a special thought for the girls here today from the French team and hope that they will get to win it in 2019. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.